The world is changing. The nature of our threats are changing. The nature of the marketplace where the Army competes for talent is changing. If we're going to have an Army that is capably led by talented officers so that it's equal to any threat that might face the United States, it really has to ensure that it's developing its officers in ways that are equal to current and future requirements and not just past requirements. When they came to the Army, they came out of an earnest desire to be selfless servants, to give something back to the nation, that they serve something larger than themselves. But at the same time, they want to be productive, to reach their full potential. And if you're going to keep young officers employed for a career of service, you've got to make this interesting to them. You've got to help them reach their potential and feel like they're making a difference.
The Army has a reputation for developing officers. It's always had that reputation. That's rooted in the inception of the all-volunteer force. When we moved from conscription to volunteers, we had to focus on what can we provide to officers to entice them to join the military. We provide development. And so the Army created this campaign back in the 70s, Be All You Can Be.
The message is clear that the Army will take someone as raw material and bring them through to their full potential, continuously develop them. It continues today with the campaign, You Made Them Strong, We'll Make Them Army Strong. Again, the message is that we will be a seminal developmental experience in the life of a young American man or woman.
Unlike corporate America, where they can poach talent at its mid and senior levels, the Army must develop it. We can't hire mid-career officers or senior officers. Our culture prevents us from doing that. So we have to develop the type of officers that we're going to need at the senior ranks. But the problem is, retention challenges have created a situation where we're excess lieutenants and junior captains, and we're short senior captains and majors. When you get in a position like that, it creates a real problem for development.
We're short these officers, and we're a nation at war. And so our ability to pull captains and majors out of operational assignments and send them off to these developmental opportunities is constrained.
Go, go, go!
As an organization, when we get so focused on the current fight and we get so focused on one dimension of what we do in the Army, we can lose sight of those other dimensions. And that's the problem the Army is confronting right now. When you step back and you look at the senior ranks, 80% of those billets are focused on non-operational type requirements, what we call the business side of the Army. That business side of the Army requires development along a lot of different dimensions, but we're currently not developing our officers to assume those roles when they'll one day reach that rank.
As you go across the key enterprise activities of the Army, building our weapons, our doctrine, our human capital, our information technology, as you go across those, there are senior leaders in every one of those fields responsible for running those activities. The decisions they make today are going to affect the Army for 20, 30 years. And yet, how did we get them ready for these positions? In many cases, we didn't. They're deeply talented individuals, but as an organization, we didn't do anything substantive to get them ready.
The Army's current development paradigm is one that treats people like interchangeable parts, like widgets. We say people come in, they're all more or less identical, and we're going to move them through developmental experiences, and we're going to get what we need. And of course, that can work to an extent, but it certainly isn't optimal.
When you look at individuals as interchangeable parts, you start to develop them in ways that are very standard. And that's what we've seen over the last couple of decades with the Army.
We need as many career paths as we have people. You extend someone's talent advantage by fully understanding what makes them tick and then making sure that they have the developmental opportunities that align with who and what they are. The Army's got to make sure that it's giving people the opportunity to maximize their productive capacity. And the thing that extracts productive potential more than anything else is education. That's the thing that is your insurance policy against an uncertain future.
Education helps us see the world from different perspectives. When we see worlds from different perspectives, that's when we become more flexible officers.
The Army is a uniformed service. It proceeds from the notion that you have millions of men and women under arms, and there is going to be an element of uniformity. And certainly there needs to be in a uniformed service. There are non-negotiable baseline capabilities and talents, particularly in the behavioral realm. Values, a selfless service, these things have to be there. But that doesn't mean that people are uniform, they just wear one.